lots of people here. Can you guys let me know if you can see and hear me? I had a technical difficulty right before I got on, so I want to make sure that this is working. Make sure I switch to live chat here. All right, Louise says hello. Hi, Louise. Nancy says I can see and hear you. Thanks, Nancy. Belinda says, hi, Kennedy. Glad you made it. Hi, Belinda. I'm glad you're here. All right, everybody says they can see and hear. That's perfect. Okay, so today I am going to make a striped ribbon star, which actually has no fabric in it. It has ribbon and trim, but the original pattern, you use a different color of ribbon for each piece to do stripes. But I thought that since we're sort of in patriotic mode right now, it'd be fun to do them in sections and try to get a flag effect. So blue on these two sections and then red, white for the American flag. So I'm gonna go ahead and I hope that I have enough ribbon here for all of those sections. If not, I might have to improvise and introduce a new ribbon color at some point, but we'll just cross that bridge if we get there. Hi, everybody. Robin, Christina, Sally. We've got lots of people today. Kimberly said, hi, all. So glad to be here. Moving my craft room from upstairs to downstairs today. I'll just be listening. That's exciting, Kimberly. Christina said, I can't wait to see this done. Michelle said, hi, everyone. Kimberly, good luck on your craft room moving endeavor. I know that can be hard work, but I bet it'll be exciting. Will you have more space or better window light or anything in your new space? I forgot to mark my equator with a pen, but I'll do it after I do this ribbon piece. The equator on the star is pretty easy to tell because it sort of makes this ridge. And I'll have to decide if I want to use these big scissors or my tinier scissors. Christy says, hi everyone, I saw CJ was here. I hope she comes back. Michelle said, so glad you're making a star. I have so much trouble with the star. All right, Michelle. So this is a pretty easy star pattern because there's not any folding. You're not trying to do any folds. You're literally just covering each section with ribbon. So you'll see I start along this little divot between two arms and just work my way up. And I'm keeping all my pins along the equator and this ridge on each arm of the star. So it's a pretty good star pattern to start with. They can be a little bit challenging to hold on to. I'm just marking this line just because it helps me pay attention to it a little easier when I have it darkened. It doesn't have to be anything pretty, but I think the stars are really cute. Anytime I end up making a pattern with a star piece of foam, at the end I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just so adorable. Especially the glitter frosted ornaments. We have a tutorial on our page, our YouTube channel, for doing Mod Podge and glitter on ornaments, and when I did a star one of those, I just thought it was super cute. A gold sparkly star. Kathy says, hello, all at work, but going to try to listen. Hi, Kathy. We're glad you're here. Laurette says, don't forget the thumbs up for Kennedy today. Thank you, Laurette. MCC, I don't remember if I know your name, your actual name. You'll have to remind me because I forgot it. But they say hi, everyone. Belinda says, not seen a star done before. This one will be a new one for me. Well, that makes me happy. They can be a little bit tough to hold on to, but that's okay. It's worth it in the end. And as I'm sure you guys have guessed or seen for yourselves, the Ornament Girl supply shop online has so many ribbon options. And we try really hard to make sure the ribbon that we're stocking in the shop is a good quality and like a good texture and everything. It's not going to get too flimsy or wrinkly. So that's a great place to shop for ribbons if you are making a striped ribbon star. CJ says, I'm here, Christy. Kimberly says, I think I'll have a little more space. I'm getting closer to my stock instead of the up and down thing. Yeah, that's good. Having it right down there on the level where you spend most of your day will be helpful. Christy says, yay, CJ. Debbie says, hi, CJ. Robin says, hello, everyone. Debbie says, hope you're doing well, CJ. CJ said, hey there, and hey, Robin. Robin said, hey, CJ, so glad to see you. Lorette said, OG ribbon is the best quality. Oh, I'm so glad you think so. That makes us happy. When you're pinning at the tips of these stars, you have to be pretty careful because since they're so skinny, you could pin right through it just like that and hurt yourself. So you want to make sure you're angling in toward the thick part of the foam so that you don't end up poking yourself by accident. And look, I already have one little section of my star covered. And I'm going to trim off a little bit of the extra here. Now I'm going to do another blue section. CJ says it's good to be here. Carol says, hey Kennedy and all peaceful pinners, and hello CJ, so glad to see you here. CJ said, Debbie, I'm doing okay. Good to see everyone. I missed you guys. Shan said, hello everyone. Hi Shan. Glad you're here. Tammy said, hi Kennedy and peaceful pinners. Hi Tammy. Thanks for being here. So, of course, I have to ask, were you guys surprised to hear about the Patriotic Pattern bundle that we're doing for 4th of July? It's for sale just this week and weekend into next week a little bit. Over the next week or so is what I should say. And you guys were asking what we're doing for 4th of July, and we wanted to tell you so bad, but we had to wait till it was time. So I want to know if you guys were surprised. I'm going to get out my tiny scissors here. There we go. Becky said, hey y'all, watching while hubby and Steven ride roller coasters at King's Dominion, Virginia. Wow. Yeah, I would rather be watching a crafting video than riding roller coasters too. I used to really like roller coasters and I really like the idea of them, but man, they hurt my stomach. And then you're just kind of like feeling crappy the rest of the day. Shan said, very surprised, it's an awesome bundle. Robin said, yes, I bought the patterns and the foam doing both red, white, and blue and Canadian. That's awesome. Yeah, the foam bundle's perfect for that because it's enough foam to make 2 of each ornament. So I love that. Louise said, yes, surprised and love it. Christy said, surprised but not really. I knew it would be amazing. I'm glad you think it's amazing. It's always fun to get new patterns and to get ones that work together nicely like that. Becky said, hi CJ, glad you are back. CJ, I feel like I missed some news. Everybody missed you, but I haven't been keeping up with the peaceful pinnings in between my lives. So I'm not sure why you were gone for a bit, but I hope everything's okay. Tammy said, I love this pattern. Yes, I love the bundle. Since I'll miss most of the live, I'm going to try to make one when I get home. Awesome. I'm glad. We'll miss you when you have to hop off. But I'm glad to hear that you like the pattern and want to try one. I've got the link in the description for anyone who wants the actual step-by-step tutorial and the full supply list for the striped ribbon star. All right, I've got my 2 blue sections done here. Now I'm going to go in with red and white going around alternating. Debbie said, very nice bundle and price for all of us OGs. I'm glad you think so. We really wanted to make it something that felt accessible and gave you guys something great. And I know things are a little tight right now for some people. So we just wanted to make sure it would be something that wouldn't be too over the top price-wise, but would be awesome for you guys to be able to have those new patterns. I have a pin sticking out right there because I didn't angle it correctly, but it's not really, it's just in line with the edge of the foam, so I think it'll get covered up. Rebecca said, waiting for my order to arrive. I have the patterns and fabric now. I just need the foam. Perfect, Rebecca. That's exciting. What fabric did you pick out? Did you do the fabric bundle that we released, or are you going to do some other colors? Robin said, I'm going to mix it up and just enjoy. Nice, Robin. Tammy said, I was going to do the fanfare last night, but marked my ball wrong. 8 lines. Oh, yeah. That one uses 6 lines. Well, technically it uses 12. So you could start out with a 4-line ball or a 6-line ball or even an unlined ball, and then mark it into 12 sections. But yeah, once you mark your foam wrong, you're probably like, I'll just get back to this tomorrow. I kind of don't like how this first piece is laying. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit while I still can. Robin said, can't wait to start creating with the bundle. Belinda said, Kennedy, what size is your star? I'm just looking if I can get them locally. Let me grab a tape measure here. It looks like from the top point down to these bottom points is 4 inches. So I have the link to these exact stars in the description. So that listing might tell you the exact size as well, but it looks like they're about 4 inches. Not too big, not too small, cute little size. Sometimes these don't want to cut with my left hand. Robin said, I love the ribbon. Thanks, Robin. CJ said, I'm good. Having trouble sleeping on a schedule, so I'm up all night and tired all day. No oomph for either. Well, I hope you feel better soon. CJ says, that looks really cute. Can't wait to see it when it's done. Thank you. Yeah, I think it'll be cute. I haven't tried a flag one like this before. The idea struck me when I was looking for a freebie pattern to use, but thinking of doing something patriotic since we're leading up to July here. And then I think my next live is after 4th of July maybe, so I wanted to make sure to get one in this week. I feel like I have to concentrate really hard on this. There's no folds, but holding on to all of these pieces is a little bit challenging. And if the very, very tip of the star doesn't get covered with ribbon, that's okay, because it will get covered with trim at the end. Alrighty, lots of pins still showing, but like I said, we'll take care of that with the trim when we get there. Becky said, yes, I got my bundle. Well, Robin said, I hope you all get it sorted, CJ. And then Becky said, yes, I got my bundle and then some, got in a little trouble. Sorry, Becky. We didn't mean to get you in trouble, but it's worth it. There's a lot worse things to spend money on in the world than craft supplies. Robin said, I call it good trouble. Rebecca said, Americana, I already had the fabric, so that allowed me to order other goodies from the OG shop. That's awesome. I'm excited to see how your ornaments turn out. If you can share them with us on Facebook, or you can always send us pictures in an email or anything like that. Post them online and tag us. Tammy said mine was unlined, but I've been doing so many 8-line, my brain went on autopilot. Yeah, that's fair. At least you can just set that ball aside that you marked with 8 lines and use it for another pattern, because you know we've got plenty of patterns with 8 lines, so you'll be able to use it for something. CJ said, me too, Robin. I'm exhausted most of the time. Oh, CJ. I hope that gets better soon. That's no fun. Tammy said, the nice thing about this pattern and cutting as you go is you can make any size work. Yeah, that's true. Very true. You just want to make sure that if you're dead set on using the same ribbon throughout the whole ornament, you want to make sure you have quite a bit of it. But it would be pretty cute to make like a scrappy version, like if you used different ribbons for different sections. It'd look a little scrappier. You could even do one with just ribbon scraps and it'd be super scrappy, and you'd be avoiding wasting any ribbon pieces. You could just have a star set aside that anytime you end up with a ribbon scrap, you just add the ribbon scrap to the star until the entire star is full. Then you can finish it off with trim. Cutting with my right hand is throwing me off a little, but these little scissors are so precise that I like to use them for this. I might have put my pins a little too far over on that one, but I can always move them. If I go to add my trim and the pins are still showing, I can scoot them in toward the center. Back to red. This is giving me Captain America feelings with this red, white, and blue, and then how it's like kind of shiny and a star. Be cute for 4th of July, but also cute for like a superhero kid's bedroom or kid's party or something like that. CJ said, me too, Robin. I'm exhausted most of the time. Oh, I think I read that already. Yeah, we hope you feel better, CJ. Robin said, CJ with a heart. Cindy said, hello, girls. Just got here, so could you please do a close-up of the blue for me? Yes, so here's the blue ribbon I used. It's one of our taffeta edged satin ribbons from the supply shop. The Ornament Girl supply shop is linked in the description. And you just lay your ribbon pieces on and pin them on these ridges and the equator and then trim it off. So you'll be able to see, I just laid the first red piece of this section. And this is the striped ribbon star ornament, but this is the first time I've done it in sections like this of color to do a flag design. So if you want to learn the striped ribbon star and get the supply list, the link is in the description for that as well. Belinda said, okay, thank you, Kennedy. Closest I can get here is 6-inch, but that should be okay. Awesome. That'll be fun to see. Tammy said, time to go back to work. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy work, Tammy. We'll miss you. Trish said, hello. Sorry I'm late. Oh, no apologies needed, Trish. Don't be sorry. We're just happy you're here. I've still got lots of ornament to do, so you didn't miss too much. Kat said, hi all, well, I finally made a live with you, Kennedy. Woohoo! Hi, Kat. I'm glad you're here. If you didn't already hear, you might have already been here when I said it, but we're doing a striped ribbon star, but I'm experimenting with doing an American flag version. Peggy said a rainbow theme would be really neat. That's true. That would be beautiful. Maybe with black, if you did like neon rainbow colors and then black for the trim. Whoops. Look, I stuck that pin. I didn't follow my own advice. And I should have been angling that pin down. Oopsie. Luckily, I didn't poke myself. Christy said this would be perfect for Stacy's basket O ribbon. Yes, it's a good way to use up ribbon. And it really puts it on display because the ribbon is flattened and smoothed out. So if you had a patterned ribbon, you'd really be able to see the print on it. I'm telling you guys, using my right hand with these scissors is... I probably look so clumsy. I have all those little red fuzzies on my white ribbon, but I'll be able to clean them up at the end. Let's check in here. Belinda says Stacy has lots of ribbon scraps in that basket of hers. And then she said, snap, Kirsty. And then Robin said, ooh, I like it. Wonder Woman. Psst, yeah, you. I know I've asked you your name before and I can't remember it. Please remind me what you like to go by. But yes, this is very Wonder Woman. I love that. Christy said, in the USA we say, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. When you say things at the exact same time. Belinda said, okay, haha, with a Coke emoji. Barbara said, just got here, happy to see everyone. Is that 3/8 inch ribbon? That is so cute. Yes, hi Barbara, we're glad you're here. This is 3/8 inch wide ribbon, but technically you could do this with any size ribbon, but the skinnier you get, the more and more strips you're gonna have to add. So 3/8 inch wide is a pretty good place to start. And we were talking earlier about how the Ornament Girl supply shop carries lots and lots of 3/8 inch wide ribbons. So if you want to check out our ribbon category, I linked it in the description of this video. Those are probably close enough together. I was thinking I had a foam gap there, but I think it was just an optical illusion with the white ribbon. I like that all three of my ribbons have the taffeta edge stitching too. Sort of ties them together. Becky said, can this star be done with fabric? You could do fabric. the trick with fabric is just going to be making sure that any raw edges are covered. So instead of using ribbon, you could fold fabric in thirds so that you have 2 folded edges, or you could just fold it in half and make sure that the folded edge is placed along the little valley between arms so that when you add each new piece, the folded edge is covering the raw edge from the previous one. We do have other patterns on soft foam stars though that are designed to be used with ribbon, so those might be a little easier. They use our folds like how we usually add, or sorry, I meant designed to be used with fabric. So if you check out the pattern section on the supply shop, you can find a couple patterns that are made on stars. And then that's a good way to add fabric to a star as well. That might be a little easier than this pattern. You could do this with fabric. You would just have to make sure that you are hiding all of those raw edges and you wouldn't want anything to get too bulky. I'm switching back to my left hand. So cute. Something we have to be thinking about that I haven't decided yet is what color trim we want to use to cover these raw edges. And I have some red and some white. So that's what it would look like with red covering the pins. And here's what it would look like with white covering the pins. Oh, it's cute either way, really. We could also do them different on each side maybe, or alternate a little bit, but we're gonna have to decide how we feel about the trim color once we get there. Okay, on to another red section. Kat said, I'm loving this star with all the ribbon. I'm mesmerized. I'm glad you like it. If you check out the striped ribbon star YouTube video where I did the step-by-step tutorial, I showed a couple different examples in that one. And on that one, the ribbon is laid out a little differently. But one that I really liked is I used all brown ribbon. If you do all brown or gold or like a beige, it can look like a gingerbread cookie. So if you did like gingerbread colored ribbon and then white gimp trim, it looks like frosting, and that turned out really cute for a Christmas ornament. And then of course gold would be beautiful. Gold or silver, anything sparkly for a star is always perfect. Possibilities are endless, really. Lots of ribbon colors in the world. Martha said, hi, I'm Martha. Thank you for reminding me of your name, Martha. I went out for Halloween as Wonder Woman in 1976. That's awesome. That is an awesome costume. I have all of the episodes of the original Wonder Woman show on DVD. I grew up watching those, and my dad collects DVDs like crazy. So I inherited those eventually. Took them with me because I loved them so much. Actually, now he collects 4Ks and Blu-rays because that's the next fancy thing, but I still like my DVDs. Christy said, what about the white trim where the blue ribbon is and the rest in red? That could be cute. I'll have to try that. Debbie said, this is very interesting with ribbon and no fabric. I'm intrigued to see the finished ornament. Very exciting. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to switch it up a little bit. we of course love our no-sew quilted fabric ornaments, but when you have all of these supplies and tools and the foam, you can experiment with some other things sometimes. We really want to get nice straight lines wherever we can, but the GIMP trim I'm using is pretty wide. I just got a message that my computer's not plugged in and the battery is going to die soon, so I will be right back to charge that. Give me 1 second, guys. Make sure you're chatting while I'm gone. Okay, the computer is charging, so it shouldn't die on us. Rebecca said, I think silver would look good. Debbie said, I love silver, but only able to find very light gray ribbon. Christy said, buffered a bit. Maybe that was because my computer was slowing down. June said, just had a few seconds of buffering like yesterday. Anyone else? Robin said, good idea, Christy. Belinda said, some buffering here for a few seconds. Nancy said, no buffering, and Debbie said, no buffering. Peggy said, talk among yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Raise your hand if you're old enough to remember that. Stephanie said, hello, all just watching during my break. Busy day at work, but will catch the replay. Love the star so far. Thank you, Stephanie. I hope you're having a good day at work. We're having fun putting this ribbon star together. My computer almost died on me because I forgot to charge it while setting up for this, but we should be good now. Glad it gave me a message because I was not paying attention to the battery level. These big scissors don't work for those tiny corners. But these tiny little precise ones do. Kat said, I think I have a star foam around this hoarder home somewhere. I'm gonna look and do this later. If I do, I have the ribbons and know where they are. That's exciting. I'm sure you've got a star buried in there somewhere. And if not, we can always send you more from the shop. I said I was gonna switch scissors so I could use my left hand, and now I've been using my right hand with these. Big scissors. Tammy said, don't tell, but I'm working and watching. We won't tell, Tammy. But don't get in trouble. Sometimes, though, it's nice to have something playing while you're working. It helps you focus a little bit. When we make videos, like pattern videos for work here at the Ornament Girl, when I'm watching it to make sure that all the editing I did was correct and there's no changes I need to make, I have to be doing something with my hands, or else my brain cannot pay attention to the video that I'm supposed to be watching, especially when it's myself talking and I sort of just tune it out. So sometimes it's not bad to multitask. if it helps you focus a little bit. It looks like I'm making confetti over here with all my little ribbon snippets. I thought I was going to end up with red on both of these, but I counted wrong, and I'll have red and white touching the blue, so that's nice. Peggy said, Tammy will never tell. No, Tammy, we would never tell on you. Kat said, Tammy, your secret is safe with us. No worries. Robin said, I have a huge styrofoam star I got at the Dollar Tree quite a while ago. Haven't done anything with it because I didn't know where to begin, but this might help. Yeah, depending on how big it is, you could just use really thick gift wrapping ribbon too, so that you're not using up a ton of your ornamenting satin ribbons on that big star. But that would be a very easy way to cover it. Karen said, watching the World Cup. Nice. Nancy said, Tammy, my lips are sealed. You could do another blue area. That's true. I could do another blue section. I kind of like the idea of having equal red and white. I'll have to look at that once I finish this. This pattern is very methodical. You just do the same thing over and over. I can see why somebody, I don't remember who, said it was mesmerizing. Putting myself in a trance with all these ribbon pieces. You don't have to think very hard, but you do have to focus on holding everything. The stars can be a little bit hard to hold on to, but once you get some practice in, it's not too bad. I like how shiny these ribbons are too. I know we've got a lot of people here, or at least a couple people here, who love adding, when we add bling to our ornaments. My style is usually a little less blingy, a little more like country or cutesy or muted. But even if I don't add a lot of sparkle to this ornament, the shiny ribbon adds a nice pop. You know, we've said we've got some bling queens around here. I have another pin poking out the side, and I'm not sure which one it is. What the heck? I'm pulling on all of them, and none of them are pulling up that little pinpoint that I've got there. Let me push on it and see what happens. Oh, there we go, it's this one. Oh, there, I found it. It was buried under another pin and ribbon. I'm gonna angle that one down better so it's not poking out the side, and then add this one. Now I can trim off this ribbon. Kathy said, I've seen some crafters take their scraps and fill glass or plastic ornaments. Cute, but I would fill too many. CJ said, bling, 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 bling. Alrighty, should I do another blue or should I do another white? What do we think, guys? More blue or another white section to even out the stripes? We've got a couple diamonds and bling queens. Louise says blue, Nancy says blue, Kathy says blue, Judy said white, CJ says blue. I think I might go with blue. That dark, another dark section will sort of balance everything out a little bit, so I'm gonna go for that. Thank you to whoever recommended that idea to start with. Oops, wasn't holding on. Lots of votes for blue and a couple votes for white. Peggy said blue, the stripes on the flag aren't equal. That's true. Sally said blue. Thank you guys for the help on deciding. I think that'll balance things out nicely. Pin sticking out here. I did not follow my own advice multiple times here to make sure your pins aren't poking through. Sally said blue. Carol said the shiny ribbons match Uncle Sam Cutie so perfectly. Super cute. That is true, Carol. I think I already mailed him to the shop. I mailed him to Stacy in the shop, so I don't have him here to hold up next to this star, but when I send this star to the shop, I should ask them to do a picture of those two together. That would be really cute. Those corded cuties are so dang cute. Sherry designed the corded cuties and she designed this striped ribbon star too, if I remember correctly. So that's pretty cool that they work together so well. All of our designers are so creative, but it's especially fun when we find new ways to use the same materials. Really cute. I like that. Okay, now before we add any trim, we've got to flip it over and do the same thing on this side. So since we're doing the flag, the blue isn't gonna line up across the equator because then the blue on this side would be the wrong side to be the American flag. So we're gonna have the blue in this section and then red and white on this side. Here's another pin I poked out the wrong way. Okay, let's get started on side 2. And I'm just making sure that this is the top center so that on side 1 and side 2, the blue is in the right spot. Use my tiny scissors for this guy so that he can get all the way into that corner. Nancy said the flag begins with a red stripe and ends with a red stripe. That's true, Nancy, so that works out nicely on this side. Kat said, I like it either way. It's gorgeous already and not even done. Fantastic. Yeah, just wait till we cover all the pins. Then we're really going to love how it looks. Robin said, didn't know that, Nancy. Belinda said, agree with Nancy and change my mind works with the blue. Phil said, good afternoon. Hi, Phil. Kat said, oh, that star hanging over the Uncle Sam in a cloche or a diorama with a sparkly background would be so cool. That's true. I'll have to tell Stacy, the Peaceful Pinners want a picture of the ribbon star with the Uncle Sam. Can you get that for us? Once I'm done making my tutorials and photographing my ornaments and everything, I ship them to the shop so that if they want to sell them in a finished ornament Friday or take pictures of them with a different ornament or anything like that, they have them there. And as much as I love them, I don't have room to store every ornament that I make here at my house. So it works out well that we can get some more use out of them when I ship them to the shop when they're done. Kind of hard to believe that we're already in June and gearing up for the 4th of July, and we already released our Patriotic Pattern bundle. We've been working on that for a long time, so it's crazy to me that it's here and already time to be doing 4th of July celebrations. But I'm also glad that it's summertime and getting warm outside. I'm sure you guys can't hear it because it's pretty faint, but I can hear my dog snoring in the other room. He's all relaxed. Rebecca said, how many blue sections did you did on the first side? I did 3, so I'll flip it over in just a second and show you here. I did 1, 2, 3. So then if this is the top on this side, I'll have 1, 2, 3, and then continue on with my stripes. I originally was just going to do 2, but then when we got there, we thought the third blue section looks nice. I like that it balances it out a little bit better. I'm going to use my left hand for this part. CJ said, my dog is snoring too, and I so want to join her. Aw, CJ, can you take a nap? We'll miss you, but if you need some sleep, you gotta get some sleep. Or does that mess with you being able to sleep at night? Barbara said, do you know how much of each color ribbon you used? So for this one, for this flag variation, I'm not sure. Let me check the original supply list really quick. Just 1 second. I want to say it's 50 inches of each, but I might be thinking of the trim. About 5 feet. Okay. So when doing a 2-color star where each section is 2 ribbon colors, so like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around, in that case you need 5 feet of each ribbon color, somewhere around there. So when we're doing 3 colors like this, you'd need a little bit less of each of those. But I didn't go through and calculate yet because I had not tried this variation. So I don't know off the top of my head. But if you had 5 feet or a little less of each ribbon color, you would definitely be set on being able to cover the whole thing. Tony said, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Tony. We're glad you're here. How are you today? We're making a striped ribbon star, but we changed up the fabric placement to try to get an American flag, and we think it's turning out pretty cute. You do start to run into pins hitting each other with this one because there's just so many along the same lines. So you just got to try a couple times with your pin placement sometimes. Kat said, oh, well, Kennedy, you have to tell hubby to build an outbuilding on the property, and then you can hang all your ornaments in it and make an ornament museum and charge $1 entrance fee for people to tour. That is not a bad idea, and we actually already have a couple of buildings on the property. I like to say that we bought the barns, and I'm just lucky that the barns came with a house for me to live in, because when we were house hunting and we found this property and my husband saw the barns, I was like, okay, well, no getting out of that one. And I love my house, but I think he bought it for the barns, or agreed to it for the barns. So I do have some space out there that I could turn into a little ornament museum or ornament shop. The Ohio headquarters. We have the Florida headquarters, and then we'd have the Ohio branch. They have, Stacy has threatened to use my barns for some foam storage before too, because they have so much foam and fabric at the shop in Florida, but it would not be logistically very smart to have to ship stuff to here and then back to the shop when they need it and all that kind of stuff. But I do love having the extra space out there. I'm always dreaming up new uses for it. CJ said, I can't nap. I'm trying to stay up so I will sleep tonight. Yeah, I hope you get some good sleep tonight. Kat said, and Stacy and the other OG employees can do that too. Yeah, we could have little ornament museums all over the country. I am out in a rural area, and a few people around have cute little farm stands in their yards where they sell eggs and pottery and all kinds of cute stuff like that. And if I had a farm stand, I'd definitely have enough ornaments to stock it with some of those. Christy said, if I need a nap, I sit back in my comfy chair with the TV on for maybe 20 minutes. If I nap in my bed, it could be longer, and then I won't sleep at night. Yeah, naps are wonderful, but it's not fun when they ruin your actual sleep later in the day. Carol says, it's going to be 107 degrees today in Arizona, Kennedy. Good thing you took your vacation months ago in Sedona. Wasn't it gorgeous? Hope your vacation was wonderful. Carol, yes, it was gorgeous. And it was hot even then. It was probably maybe in the 90s. And we made sure to do any exploring first thing in the morning. Because, yeah, it gets crazy hot. 107 degrees is insane. But I loved it. We were staying near Phoenix with my husband's grandparents, and it was me and my husband and my mom, and we went to Sedona one day and shopped around, and that's just always so fun. And we went to, what is it called? The Chapel of the Holy Cross, I think is what it's called. It's this really beautiful chapel, jutting out from the side of the Red Rock Mountains with absolutely beautiful views and big stained glass window and statue inside. So that's a pretty cool place. You pass it right on your way into Sedona. So that was really cool to see. And we shopped around and got lunch. And then back in Phoenix, we spent a lot of time just by the pool. And we went to, I had been to Sedona before, but I had not been to the botanical gardens in Phoenix before, and that was absolutely gorgeous. That is one of my new favorite places on the planet. I love gardening and I love plants and flowers and insects and animals, and but it's just such a different environment out there, obviously, than it is where I live in Ohio. And I got to see so many beautiful plants I had not seen before. And that was a beautiful experience. But we did that, first thing in the morning because it would have gotten way too hot. And then after we did that in the morning, we went to brunch at Lons, which is pretty famous, I guess. It's attached to a fancy inn and hotel, but they have a restaurant, and it's outdoor seating and a really beautiful stone building and absolutely delicious food. And we got brunch there, so that was a great experience. And then after we did brunch at Lons, I went back to the botanical garden because at that time the butterfly house opened and I really wanted to go through the butterfly house. So we hit that again in the afternoon, even though it was hot. We just did the butterfly house really quick and then went back to the pool. But yeah, it was a great trip. And anytime we go there, we do like to do that in like March or April, because anytime later than that, it's just scorching hot. Thank you for asking about that, Carol. It was a great trip. I love it out there. We're really lucky that my husband's grandparents, they have a house out there that they go to in the winter, and so that makes it so much easier to travel out there and see them, because all we have to do is get out there, but then they have room for us to stay with them. So they're always very kind and willing to host, and we super appreciate that. Barbara said, thank you. Tracy said, hey everyone, I hope y'all are doing well today. You too, Tracy. We're glad to see you. I am not trimming very nice trimmed lines on this ornament, but we should be able to cover it all up. Okay, we're on to our red and white sections now, and let me just make sure. Yeah, I got confused for a second. I was like, let me make sure my blue sections are in the right spot, and they are. Tony said, my grandson started driver's ed today, so I didn't get to start at the beginning, but this is looking really good. Thanks, Tony. We're glad you're here. I hope driver's ed went well for your grandson. That is an important thing to have go well so that everybody can grow up to be safe drivers. If you haven't heard already, it's the striped ribbon star, but we're changing it up to do an American flag style. Jean said, a she shed. Yes, a she shed, a cute little farm stand with ornaments in it would be the perfect she shed. Uh-oh, I've got some fraying edges over here. I'm going to just add an extra pin to hold those down for now. That's the only thing with this pattern. You are handling the ribbon a lot, and your edges can start to fray, but we'll get some trim on it pretty quick. You could always add glue or singe the edges a little bit if you felt like it, but with how many pieces are on here, that would definitely add some time. So MCC said, oh, she can store some at my house, but I can't guarantee I'll ship it out. Free foam storage, but also the inventory might get a little messed up. We're not gonna know where all that foam disappeared to. That's pretty funny. Robin said, aren't you supposed to be switching to red? So, oh, I see. I did 4 blue sections. That's why I was so confused. I was like, what's happening here? Yes, this section was supposed to be red. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that. And I should have seen it earlier, but I'm glad I saw it before I got further with it. And I will reuse these red pieces. And I'm sure I'll find something to use these blue scraps for. Maybe another star sometime. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Who was that who saved me? Robin. Robin Johnson, thank you. That would have been tragic to get all the way around and realized that I didn't match the first side. It would have been fine. They don't have to totally match, but when it's hanging from the top, I don't want the blue to be all the way over here. This is what live ornamenting is all about. You make mistakes and then you fix them, and it's all good. Kathy said, yes, the chapel is beautiful. Yes, I love it there. Very cool place to stop. It's worth a drive if you're out that way, because the drives out in Arizona are also beautiful too. Okay, just pretend that section didn't happen, and now we're gonna switch to red like I was supposed to the first time. And I will use these little red pieces that I already cut. Thank goodness I have you guys here to help me pay attention to my sections. Kat said, yuck, 107. I'm here in 82 degrees with a breeze, and I'm here wishing it were winter right now. Oh, geez. I definitely don't wish it was winter, but 107 is a lot. I like 70 degrees. Set in the 70s to 80s makes me pretty happy, and a breeze does help, but if it's humid or you don't have a breeze, it can get, even the 80s can get a little rough. For those of us who don't live in Arizona, of course. If you know how many sections of each color you want to do before you start, you can always use a pen to mark them. So like I could have written blue and written a B in 3 spots, and then I would have been able to check as I started. That's a little helpful tip to do on ornaments sometimes when you have a specific color layout you're going for. Okay, let's get this piece lined up. And it doesn't really matter if you pin on the equator or on the center line first, just as long as everything's laying smooth and pinned in a straight line. Michelle said, I live in Arizona too. So many wonderful things to see here, but it's really hot right now. Yeah, it's like too hot to go out and see anything, I bet. Just stuck inside in the AC. But that can be kind of relaxing too. Carol said, sounds like the most wonderful vacation. Family, good food, and gorgeous scenery, and butterflies. Perfect. It really was perfect. The only thing I wish is that my sister would have been able to go with us, but as some of you have heard, sometimes she's on here chatting with us. She had my little baby niece last year, and so she just was not feeling ready to try to pack up the baby and go on a big cross-country trip, and I don't blame her, but hopefully I'll get to be able to do that trip with her and my niece sometime too. We missed them while we were all there. The only thing with this 3 sections of blue is that our trim is going to chop off part of, or sort of like section it off a little weird. But I think that'll be okay. It'll still be cute when we get those trim pieces on. It's all an experiment. Robin said, you have too many blue sections. Yeah, thank you, Robin. I think a different Robin, maybe, is who pointed that out to me. Or, no, you pointed that out to me twice. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I was too busy yapping about my vacation, probably. Wasn't paying attention to how many blue sections I did. Kathy said, we have several people in this chat from Arizona. I'm always happy when it's 110 or less. After 110, it's uncomfortable even in the house. It's a fortune to lower the AC from 78 degrees. Yeah, that's tough. 110 that's a lot. You've got a pretty high bar for before you become uncomfortable though, so that's nice. I don't think I would make it to 110. Make it in 110 degree weather very easily. I was gonna look out my window to see what our weather's doing now, but my curtains are shut. But it's looking kind of dark out there, like it might get stormy today. Chris said, Robin Johnson, I noticed that also, LOL, just thought my eyes are going crazy. No, Chris, you were right. You were paying closer attention than I was. But yeah, I could like tell something was off when I flipped it over, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Carol said, I distracted Kennedy thinking about her lovely vacation. Sorry. It's okay, Carol. I'm glad you asked about it. It was a great trip. It already feels like a long time ago. And it's kind of easy to come home from vacation and just like hop right back into normal life and forget how lovely all the fun things you just did were. Not that normal life isn't lovely, but you know what I mean. It just is over, and then you don't really always think about it that much more. So I appreciate you asking. It was fun to think about that trip again. I've got a little corner that doesn't want to cut there. the point with lots of pins here. Sometimes I gotta use something to protect my fingers a little bit while I'm pushing those in, while they find their place between all those existing pins. Butterfly Whisper said, red, white, and blue hearts. Very cute. Crafty said, hi guys, Terry here. This is such a cute ornament. Thank you, Terry. It's the striped ribbon star pattern, and we have the link to the actual tutorial in the description. And it wasn't originally designed to look like an American flag. It's more striped. On the original design, you alternate ribbon colors as you go, as you place each piece, but I wanted to see what an American flag variation would look like. Since we're in patriotic mode, because we released our Patriotic Pattern bundle, and it's only, you can only get it at the special bundle price through Tuesday of next week. So I wanted to do something patriotic that would work well with our theme of the week. I know Stacy has been throwing in some Christmas, I think, but she's been doing patriotic for a while. Oh, had to crack my neck there. But since I only do a live every few weeks, I wanted to make sure to get a patriotic version in here. Kat said maybe instead of trim in that one blue section, just line it with crystals to cover those pins, or just another piece of blue ribbon over the pins in that blue section. That's a good idea, because then it maybe wouldn't look too offset if I covered it with blue. Ooh, I really like that. We could maybe even do ribbon on the other sections too if we decide to. That would be cute to cover those raw edges and pins without breaking the blue up too much. Good thinking. See, this is why it's so great to pin with you guys. You have all the good ideas. And we are going to have to use some beads to hold our trim or those extra ribbon pieces in place. So don't worry, guys, we'll add a little bling. I'm really curious. I've thought of this on a couple of Stacy's lives, but haven't been on to ask yet. But I'm curious if everybody who is on here and chatting and watching, if any of you were invited, like sent this link by a friend or anything like that, or if you just found it through YouTube, or if you have already been following along with us. We're already an Ornament Girl fan, and then we started doing these lives and you showed up. I could actually, I think I can do a poll. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start a poll. And let's see if it works. I put a few different options. I'm just curious to know how many of you found us on YouTube or were already here. And I know we've been wanting to grow the number of people who watch our lives because the more the merrier. We want to spread the joy of pinning and ornamenting. And so I was thinking it would be really, really fun. I know you guys always do likes and subscribe and all that, but it would be really sweet for any of you guys to send the links to a live to any friends you have who you think might enjoy it. Because if people don't really know about ornamenting or about the Ornament Girl, but there may be someone who's crafty and they like to chit chat and do crafts while they're chit chatting with friends, this would be perfect for them. So anytime you feel like inviting someone along, just send them the link and we will be happy to have them. We should do some kind of like friendship themed ornament where you invite a friend, or a Mother's Day ornament and you send the link to all your moms, and we can give all the moms in your life and we can give them a shout out. That would be really fun. I know everyone's always so excited and welcoming on the chat here whenever we have new people, which is super sweet. We really appreciate that of you guys. Looks like we have 70% says was already an OG fan, and 30% said found you on YouTube. Wow, that's a pretty good chunk. But nobody said invited by a friend, so maybe word of mouth would be another really good way to start growing our peaceful pinning group here that we get to hang out with every day. Let me catch up with the chat here. Trish said, you just wanted us to feel better when we make mistakes. Yeah, Trish, that's what it was. No, we definitely all make mistakes when we're ornamenting. Tracy said, hi, Terry. Carol said, that's why I have a gazillion photo albums. My kids will go crazy when I'm not here anymore. Robin said, good idea, Kat. Kat said, or blue glass bead pins over the existing pins in the blue section, or maybe flatten the tiny bead caps and place them over the pins there with a blue sequin or glass bead pin. Lots of good ideas. The raw edges are kind of the issue more than the pins, because even if I just used pearl head pins, the raw edges of the ribbon might still fray over time, so we kind of want to cover them up with something just in case the ribbon wants to unravel a tiny bit. But I will definitely play around with that when I get there. Christy said, I've been an OG since 2008, but just accidentally found the lives while on YouTube one day. Oh, that's interesting, Christy. I'm curious, are you signed up for our emails? Like, do you get the email every Friday with the finished ornaments and our new shop items, or are you just a club member and you don't want to receive those weekly emails? Because I think we've shouted out the lives in the emails a couple times, but it's easy to miss when we've got lots of shop links and inspiration and finished ornaments, and it's easy to miss a little link at the bottom that's like, hey, we've been doing lives. But that is really good to know. Getting feedback from you guys is one of like the biggest, most helpful things about these lives, because we can just talk directly to you and be like, how can we reach more people, and how can we make things easier on you guys and all those types of things. So feedback like that is super helpful. Thank you, Christy, for saying that. Patty said, hey, fellow OGs, a 4th of July star. Very cool. Thank you, Patty. Yeah, this is the striped ribbon star pattern, but we're changing it up and making it a flag. And we're kind of experimenting as we go. So once we get to the embellishing part, we're going to have some decisions to make. Robin, oh, sorry, I skipped a couple people. Martha said, I sent a link to my hubby because he likes to see our stuff for fun. Oh, I love that, Martha. Hi, Martha's hubby, if you're here. Thanks for watching. Robin said, I've shared the links and I talked to relatives and friends so they know you're on YouTube. It's been so much following along with everyone. Oh, thank you, Robin. We really appreciate that. Word of mouth definitely helps small businesses because it can get some new people in and interested without having to, you know, pay for ads or build the ads to put on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. It really is a great way to support a small business, is to just shout them out to your family and friends. And we really appreciate that every time you guys do that. Kathy says, I found you on YouTube, then joined via email, then had to wait to join the club. Oh, cool. That's good to know. So you found us on YouTube and then joined our email list. And then, yeah, you're right. Our clubs are not open all the time. We want to make sure that we're really prepared to, we want everyone to have a great experience and make sure that we can keep up with the number of club kits and the number of customers and all those things. So all of our clubs, even the digital one, we don't have them open all the time. We just open them. We do special club openings, and that helps us make sure that we can keep up with everything correctly and keep up with the current number before we add more people. So you do have to wait a little bit, but we try to do quite a few club openings throughout the year so that people still get quite a few options and chances to join. But thank you so much for being here. We're so glad that you found us. I can hear the rain starting out there. Hopefully it doesn't become anything too stormy and mess with my internet or my power. I don't think it's supposed to, but you never know, especially in Ohio, and when it goes back and forth between, we kind of have been having fluctuations between warm, like hot, and then a little chilly again, and that's a recipe for storms. Kathy said, oh, Cindy said, already an OG. Robin said, I know a few people that might like these videos. Well, if you want to send them the links, that would be absolutely amazing. And if they hop on and they don't like it, no hard feelings, you know. And no one has to, we don't all have to like the same things, but if there are people who would enjoy chatting and making some crafty friends online, this is a great place to do it. As you guys know. And it's only such a fun place to chat and be because all of you guys are so sweet and kind to each other. So that really, you guys really make the time doing the lives worth it and joining the lives worth it, because you're not just watching us ornament, you're also making great friends. So that's pretty awesome. I have another tip of a pin sticking out here, so I'm going to find that pin head and then angle it down more. My frayed ribbon edges are starting to stress me out a little bit. I'm excited to get them covered up shortly. and we're on our last section of foam. I didn't even realize that. Perfect. Let's see. We got a few more comments. Nancy said, I found you on YouTube with the deer ornaments. I shared it with a coworker, and I think she got the basic star kit. Oh, that's awesome, Nancy. Yeah, those deer and doe basic star ornaments are really popular. They're so cute. If you guys have not checked them out already, they're on the YouTube channel. And they're super adorable. Very creative. Robin said, started following Stacy a few years ago on YouTube, signed up for the email and waited patiently to join the digital club. Now a member of the Christmas club and VIP. That's so amazing. Robin said, digital is a good place to start. Yeah, thank you, Robin. I'm so glad you're here. The digital club is really awesome because if you're stressed at all, like I know some people don't want their boxes of ornament supplies to be stacking up and things if you don't always have time to make your ornament that month. So if you do the digital club, every month when you log in, you get a brand new pattern with an ebook and a video, but you get to use your own supplies and whatever fabrics you want at home to make it. And then that way, if you need to, if you're busy and need to take a little break from actually making ornaments or anything like that, your patterns will always be there for you, but it's not something physical that's actually taking up space in your craft room. But of course, our kits are pretty amazing as well. So if that's your style, then the kits are awesome to have because then you don't have to plan anything. You just get everything you need right in one box. Now we have 72% says was already an OG fan and 28% says found on YouTube. Kat said, oops, I scrolled past it. Kat said, yeah, then the ribbon over it would be the best way to cover any fray. Christy said, I get all the emails, daily inspire, finished ornament Friday, etc. Maybe I need to scroll all the way to the bottom of the email where Stacy says happy ornamenting. She does sometimes add in a tiny little blurb at the very, very bottom of the emails, but it's not like every Friday she's talking about the lives or anything. I think she's just mentioned a couple times in the email that we do them, but I'm glad that you came across them on YouTube. You said you were a club member, but then you came across them, so I'm glad you were able to find them. Robin said, I honestly don't remember how I found OG, but joined the digital club, then got into the Christmas club, but most recently joined the Ornament Girl club. That's awesome, Robin. And then you said, I'm not sure how to share a link. So if you wanted to share somebody the link to this live specifically, I'm going to go to YouTube to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Underneath where you're watching the video, there's usually a little arrow icon and it says share underneath it. And if you click that arrow icon, you'll be able to copy the link. And then if you texted or emailed that link or anything, Facebook Messenger, texted it to somebody, when they click on the link, it would take them to this video. You could also just send them the link to the whole YouTube channel. So like if you're on our YouTube channel, in the top bar where it says youtube.com/ornamentgirl or however it says that, if you copy that whole link, select it and copy it, and then you text it or email it or message it to somebody, then when they click on the link, it'll take them right to our page. But you could also just tell people that if they go to YouTube and search for the Ornament Girl, that our channel would pop up, and then they could go to the little live section and find our lives. Sherry said, my sister-in-law lives in Ohio. Oh, that's awesome. I really like Ohio. I'm up near Lake Erie, and it's beautiful. It's very flat in this area, but we have the lake and lots of farmland, and it's beautiful. CJ said, ain't that the truth? All my friends are on here. Aw, CJ. I'm glad we can all be friends. Kat said, I will and can say the first time I'd ever heard of OG, it was something that popped up on my Facebook feed page, and I checked it out and became a premium kit member with the first Cardinal Ornament kit in 2016. That's awesome, Kat. Thank you for being around, sticking with us for so long. CJ said, I wasn't patient waiting to get into the Christmas Club. I kept missing it, and it took me 2 years. Oh no, are you in it now, CJ? Did you finally get in? Carmen said, hi, Kennedy. I've been here. Problems commenting. Hope to get this worked out. Love this ornament. It's a star. Hi, Carmen. I can see your comment now, so it sounds like you got it fixed. I'm sorry that you were having a hard time getting your comments through. Yes, it is a star and a flag at the same time. Christy said, I joined digital because I knew I would have a pile of little white boxes someplace. Now I just have tons of fabric, lots of foam and ribbon, and pins. Yep, you just still end up collecting your own supplies to make them. Kat said, I'm glad I'm a VIP club member. I love the fabrics that you all put together. I don't trust my own choices and wouldn't do many if I always had to pick and cut my own fabrics. Kat, I bet that your fabric choices are cute, even though you don't trust yourself. But you're right that picking them and cutting them is a lot of work. So even though it's really cute, I'm sure what you would pick, it is nice to just not even have to worry about it. Carol said, I'm actually a crocheter. Me too, Carol. And was looking for a crochet deer pattern. That's when the deer pattern from the Ornament Girl came up. I loved it right away and was a bit intimidated. Now I'm hooked. Carol, I love to crochet too, and I go through phases. I haven't crocheted in a while, but that's really cool that you tried it out even though it was a little intimidating, and then you fell in love with it. All right, before I start reading more comments, I'm going to start thinking about how I want to do this. So I do think I want to cover the blue section with just ribbon so that the blue section doesn't get too chopped up. But remember, we have to decide, and then I could do ribbon for the other rows too. And we need to decide, do we want to do ribbon or gimp trim? Honestly, this red is not really the same red as that ribbon. So I don't know if that kind of throws things off a little bit. We also have the white gimp trim, which I think is pretty cute and classic, and it matches the white ribbon better than the red trim matches the red ribbon. But I don't want to chop this blue section into like weird sections like that, unless you guys think we should do it all in white. Oh my gosh, hard to decide. What if we did white ribbon on those sections, white or red? We could do red, white, and then blue. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to start with the blue because that's the only thing I know for sure. And usually I would bring this all the way around like this, but then my blue is going to be in the wrong spot. So I am not going to do that this time. I'm just going to trim it along the equator. Cute. Michelle said, a friend showed me an ornament she made and I was hooked. I joined the digital club, Christmas club, and then VIP club. Completely obsessed now. That's awesome, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here. CJ said, I got in last July and I'm also a digital club member too. Yay, CJ, that's awesome. Robin said, Carmen, I had that same problem one day with the commenting. That's weird. Nancy said, I was looking for a new craft to do after I retired, went on YouTube and found OG. I joined in 2020. Martha said, I found Ornament Girls because I click on the live heading at the top of YouTube. It's fun to see what's there. One day when I peeked, you were there, and it was love at first pin. I'm a quilter. Nancy and Martha, thank you for that feedback. It's really good to know. Yeah, I've never even thought of just going to the live section of YouTube and seeing who's doing what. That's a good idea. I wonder what would pop up for me. Nancy said, found you last December, then joined the Christmas Club, then Digital Club. I too get all the emails waiting for the VIP to open again. Yes, definitely keep an eye on your emails. We do have plans for hopefully opening the VIP club not too crazy far away from now, so keep an eye out for that. Kat said, I know it's a lot of work, and I praise all of you who cut and put kits together. I learned big time when I did 200 ornaments for a wedding favor. Much respect to OG cutters. 200 is a lot. Yeah, I think the most of one ornament I've done is like 6. Somebody wanted some ornaments made out of a wedding dress, and that was a lot. 200 is pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't do any of the kit packing because I'm in Ohio and they ship from Florida, but I know everyone who packs our kits and cuts our fabric works really hard, and I really appreciate them. Peggy said blue on blue, then white gimp trim on the rest. Louise said ribbons on the sections and white gimp trim around the edges. That's kind of what I was thinking, Louise. Carol said, have to hop off. Thank you, Kennedy. Can't wait to see your incredible finished product. Bye, Carol. Thank you for being here. Nancy said, I agree with Peggy. Blue ribbon and white gimp. Martha said, always something fun in my live feed. I get crafters and musicians of every persuasion. That's really cool. I'm going to have to try that. Just hopping on the live section and seeing what happens. I think I like the idea of ribbon in the middle and then trim around the edge. So I think I might do that. And this time I can just put it up and over all the way to the center on the other side so that we have less edges along the equator. And I want to make sure these pins are pushed in pretty flat. Just go right up and over that point to the other side. Gimp trim does sort of hug the ornament a little better, but we've got so much going on here. I think the ribbon will keep things looking more consistent. Now, do I swap to white ribbon? I think that could be cute. Or do I do more red? I'm gonna try white. Sorry, I need to figure out where I left off. Okay, so Cindy said, is the VIP and the digital the same patterns? And then I see a couple other questions about that, so I'm going to read those and circle back around. Robin said, yes, ribbon in the middle. Denise said, I was a digital member, fan first. Started watching the lives when they became available. Also enjoy buying the occasional extra VIP kit. Debbie said, can you please explain what exactly the VIP club is and what you get every month? Robin said, do all red ribbon. Okay. I think I'm gonna alternate red and white ribbon, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to explain our different clubs. So, in the Ornament Girls Club, not the Christmas Club, this is all about, this little spiel is the Ornament Girls Club. We have the Digital Club and the VIP Club. Each month, both of those clubs, oops, I can't go all the way up and over with that one. Each month, both of those clubs will get access to the same new pattern every month. So it's usually the 15th of each month, you'll log in to your pattern library and you'll see the new pattern in the Ornament Girls Club. Now, if you're a digital member, that's what you get. You get the new pattern in your library. It's a video and an ebook, and then you'll have access to that forever, and you can make as many ornaments as you want from that pattern. if you're in the VIP club, we are going to mail you an actual kit that we designed for that pattern that month. And in your kit, you get everything you need to create the pattern. So your foam shape, all of the pins you need, all of the fabric you need, and it's already cut into the sizes of the pieces that you'll need for that specific pattern. Ribbon bows, beads, embellishments, hanger string, exactly how we designed the kit. You get every piece that you need for it. And then you will also log into your pattern library and see that same pattern available. And that's, you'll follow along with the ebook and video to create your ornament. So it is the same pattern, but in the VIP club is how you get the kit. And that's a brand new pattern every month. We have a team of designers who are always designing. And so we don't reuse patterns in that club. You're always going to get a new pattern. Then separate from that, if you join the Christmas club, you will get a kit every month, but we use some of our existing patterns. So what you'll get every month is a kit, again, with every single material you'll need. The only things you need to provide are like your scissors and tape measure, but all of the materials we include in there. But in the Christmas club, you get a kit, and then you'll get a new tutorial each month, and that's just a video, and we make the video to specifically match the kit you're getting. But most times we're using existing patterns. So that's why we don't do a whole new ebook. It might be a classic pattern or an older pattern from the Ornament Girls Club that we're using in the Christmas club. And it will always be Christmas themed. So sometimes in the Ornament Girls Club, like in October, our October ornament will probably be Halloween themed. But some people wanted just Christmas all year round. So we also have the Christmas Club where you can just get Christmas all the time. I hope that helped. Do you have any questions about that? I hope I explained it. And all of those clubs, the digital and VIP Ornament Girls Club, plus the Christmas Club, we only open them each a few times a year. So if you aren't in the club but you want to be, you should join our email list, because that is the best way to hear about when we have a club opening happening, and we'll tell you exactly the date and time that the club is opening, and then you can go on and join. And for the clubs where you get a kit, the Christmas Club and the VIP Club, we limit the number of people who can join at any time, because we want to make sure that we're prepared to make that many kits for the number of people who join. But when the digital club is open, it's open for a few days at a time, and so you'll have a little bit more time to join, and it doesn't sell out like the other versions do, because it's digital, so we don't have to prep the kits for those and things like that. I'm going to see if I can do this in a way that covers the pins by flipping this ribbon over itself. So I pinned the ribbon pointing the wrong direction. Now I'm going to flip it like this so that we have a tidied up center. And we're going to have to add some pins and beads to hold everything in place. Okay, let me catch back up. Robin said, you explained it perfectly. Thank you, Robin. Kat said, I think I'd do ribbon only on the blue and use gimp trim everywhere else. Judy said, have to drop off. Grand cat sitting. Thanks, Kennedy. Oh, have fun, Judy, with your grand cat. Cindy said, thank you for explaining the VIP and digital. Thank you, Cindy, for being here. I hope that helped. I know we have like a lot of acronyms and words that we throw around, and sometimes it can get confusing. Okay, I just realized another mess up on this. Since I went straight up and over, I'm not alternating my red and white anymore on this side. So just give me a second. Okay, this one. Red, white, red, white. So this one needs to stop along the equator. I think that looks really cute. Red, this needs to be white. So this one can't be white and needs to stop along the equator. We wouldn't be having this problem if we were using the same color for each section or the GIMP trim everywhere, but I already made it this far with the ribbon, so I'm going to stick with it. So I need white here. And then I'm going to do white this way so that my flipped over piece can be red. Got lots of pins going on here. Maybe this thimble will help. I'm going to trim this up so it's a little more straight. Robin said, I have grandkitties too. Phil and Sue. Aw, that's really cute. And then Robin said, that's cute. Nancy said, do you have to be a digital member to get the pattern that comes with the VIP subscription? If you are a VIP member, the pattern is included in your price. So the price you pay for the VIP club includes your kit and access to the pattern that month. So you don't have to be in both, you'll just be in the VIP club. If you're a digital member, your price is lower because it just includes the access to the pattern. I hope, did that answer your question? Oops, bent my pin. It did not want to go in there. Bent it at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so we have all of those front raw edges covered on both sides. Now we've got to do the GIMP trim. I think I'm going to go for white around the edge. And we're going to need some pins to help hold it down. So let's decide what kind of decorative pins we want to use. Wow, we're at 2 hours already. Okay, this is my little stash I collected for myself to possibly use today. Don't need my sticky note, and we already have white trim out. I have white pearl head pins I was thinking I could use as the stars, but I also have crystal beads, and I feel like we want some bling. So maybe I'll use sparkly crystal beads to hold the white GIMP trim down. I think that's a good idea. This is the very top. I'm just gonna put some temporary pins because I'll probably come back and add some kind of hanger. So I'm just gonna shove those in halfway for now. Okay. So I need my little crystal beads. And we gotta push it down into this little dip so that it stays down in there. Oops. I love these clear crystal beads. They're so simple, but they're so sparkly. Like that. Hold down the trim with a crystal bead in the divots and the points, do we think? I'm gonna see what we're going to check in if you guys have anything to give me feedback about that before I get all the way around. Martha said that's really pretty. Nancy said thank you, it did. Debbie said, so are the patterns for VIP and digital the same that month? Yeah, it's the same new pattern each month. The only difference is that if you're VIP, you also get the kit and you pay a little more because you're getting the kit. The Christmas Club will be a different pattern and a different kit. But VIP and digital, you get access to the same new pattern each month in the same spot on the website and everything in your pattern library. The VIPs just get that kit in the mail as well. Christy said yes. Kat said, this is looking so awesome, making me sing She's a Grand Old Flag. She's a high-flying flag. Peggy said, when I use the GIMP trim, I put some fray check on the cut ends as an extra insurance. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I might grab some glue when I officially pin that down all the way. Now I just got to make sure I'm covering pins and raw edges wherever I can. Looking cute. Whoops. Peggy said, hard to tell on the video, but the crystals seem to be lost. Yeah, they do blend in a little bit. They're adding some sparkle, but they're not really adding color. I do have, I think, some red and blue crystals, but I might need to use them to hold these down. So maybe I'll add those more along the red and blue. And then we could do the clear crystals as the stars in the blue section maybe. I kind of want the flag part to pop and not the outline so much. You could do fray check on the ends of the ribbons before you start covering them too. Would help a lot. I think that looks pretty cute. See, this ribbon keeps sliding out of the way, so we're gonna need to add something there to help hold it down. Uh-oh. Turns out this wasn't a full piece of trim, but it'll make it all the way around. I thought that was all connected. These white pins, or the pins on this white ribbon, are kind of far over. But they'll get covered. You could use wider gimp trim here too, which would make covering all of the raw edges easier. Now I have grand old flag stuck in my head too. Come on, Kennedy, get the bead. Peggy says, all I'm seeing is pin heads. Would the pearl head pins be better? I agree, Peggy, maybe a red crystal. I do have white and red, white, and blue pearl head pins. That might be cuter along the gimp trim. I'm going to keep pinning it just so it can all be held down. But maybe we can swap some things out. Oops. Now I'm back to the top. Okay. I definitely think I want to add some white or some crystal to the blue section to represent stars. So I have white pearl head pins or crystal beads. I have red and blue crystal beads, and then I have red, white, and blue pearl head pins. And I'm going to do a long looped pin and a swirl ornament hanger for the hanger. So we've got that covered. But we've got to figure out if we like pearl head pins or crystals better with this ornament. And let's see what pearl head pins look like on the outside. This blue is quite a bit brighter, but can't even get this pin in there. I don't know, red and blue might be pretty cute. We'd have to do all the same color because we can't make them even. Let's see. Let's first test out if we want white pearl head pins or crystal beads as the star section. Pearl head pins might be cute, but crystal beads add more sparkle. What do we like for stars on the blue? Maybe just a couple, maybe like 5 of them here. Pearl head pins or crystal beads? What do we think? Can't decide. And then along the ribbon, whoops, just spilled those. I'm clumsy today. White pins, pearl head pins show up better. Pin, pearl head pin, pearl head pin. Okay, so that's pretty unanimous. So let's do that. Okay, that's pretty cute for the stars section. And now if we stick with the pearl head pins, to hold the other sections down, like that, to hold those center pieces down. What do you guys think? Nancy said, pearl head pin for the stars. You can use them to help hold the blue ribbon in place. True. Oh, yeah, I need to add it to the rest of this section. I'm still stuck thinking that. I'm only doing 2 blue sections. Kat says the satin ribbon is so shiny it doesn't need crystals. I think you're right. Martha said, I love that you let us be collaborators. Pearl head pins, pearl head pins. Yeah, that looks really good. Yes, love it. Okay, let me figure out how I want to, how many white pins I want to add here. Good thing I've got lots of these. Okay, that's cute. I can rearrange those in a minute if I need to, but I just want to get everything pinned down before anything starts fraying too crazy. And I can put something in the center too. And then maybe the blue pins on the gimp trim, since we aren't using any blue on the ribbon pieces. That's what it looks like with blue pearl head pin on the outside. Robin said that looks cute. It's polka dots. Yes. Very polka dotty. I have a foam gap showing here, so I'm just gonna fiddle with that a little bit. Do we like the blue pin on the outside? Cindy said, does the white ribbon stretch? It doesn't really stretch a whole lot, but I didn't make it necessarily as tight as I probably should have. Okay, I'm going to switch out our crystal beads for blue pearl head pins that I have spilled all over my work area here. I do like how polka dotty the pearl head pins look. There's just a lot of pins in this, so they're having a hard time getting in there sometimes. I'm really being scattered with my materials today. Yeah, you guys are right. This looks really cute. I like it. Got a ribbon piece here that isn't laying quite right, so I'm gonna tug it and pin it a little bit. Need my thimble. I hear the birds chirping outside, so maybe it's not as rainy now. You never know. Okay, back to the top where I'm gonna want to do a little bit of glue and a hanger. I'm just moving my temporary pins over so that this is still held in place. I'm gonna grab some tacky glue really quick. Oops, I missed a crystal bead. Be right back. Okay, it's not fray check, but it is tacky glue. And so when it dries, it'll help hold these ends in place. Gotta let it get down to the tip of the bottle. And that'll dry clear too. I'm gonna just go ahead and put my long looped pin in right now. So this pin is super long and has a loop-de-loo at the top, except I might want a bead cap for that. long looped pin with a little round bead cap right there at the top center. On top of the glue so that it'll help hold everything together. Okay guys, I think we are on the right track. We probably want to put something at the center, and I really like this bead cap. I only have one of them, and I'm hoping that the shop has a second one so that when I send it to them, they can use this. But how cute is that flowery bead cap at the very center? I've got this flowery one. I've also got one that's a little more domed. Or I have the same small one that I used at the top that we could put at the center too. I don't know. I don't know if that one feels big enough for everything else that's going on here. Or technically we don't need one because I did cover the pins, but it kind of feels like it needs something in the middle. I could do another white pin all the way down here. Does that help at all? I like it a lot, Carmen says. Butterfly Whisper said hearts. Robin says, I love how it evolves when you start adding the embellishments. Yes, for sure. CJ said, love the white pins for the stars. I would find a way to incorporate some bling. I just gotta. Carmen said, maybe something blingy in the center. Yeah, that's what I like that. This blingy bead cap is pretty cool. It's like textured. Look how dimensional it is. Pearl heads on the blue. Cindy said red on red, white on white. Butterfly Whisper said hearts. Peggy said flowery one. Martha said flowery one. Kat said that's adorable. You could flatten a dome one too. Oh, that's true. I could flatten one of these out. I don't want to like dent my backdrop thing. But when I flatten that, it looks like this. That way, if there's not two of these flowery ones, they would match. Ooh, I do kind of like that. Christy said, love the first one. Stacy can add it to a finishing Friday. Yes. Robin said, flip it so it's not a dome. First one looked the best. Love the way you finished it. I like the blingy bead cap with maybe a crystal in the center. Yeah, good idea. But maybe I'll do this since I know I can get two of them. Okay. So let me add my white stars. How did I do this? Two in the little divot. I've got a pinhead showing there, but I can scoot that trim over in just a second. Okay, cute. Couple red pins. Good thing I've got lots of white pins on hand. You could also add glue just around the edge and lay the trim down on it too, so that the trim doesn't slide out of place if you have a kind of thin one. Oops, I've got a pin going out the side over there. How many times have I said that today? Okay. If I go with this one, I know that I'll have two. But maybe I'll go with this one and then this one on the back, and I'll just send an extra so that if we don't have two of these. Or should I just go with matchy? Okay, what color crystal are we doing? Probably a red one. Or would a blue one be better? In the center there. Love the way you finished it. Thanks, Trish. Carmen said, I like the blingy bead cap with maybe a crystal in the center. Changed my mind. The flattened one is nice, said Peggy. Nancy said, so pretty. I'm going to try changing this out for a blue crystal. See what happens. These crystals are kind of a different blue, though. Ooh, I do like that. What do we think, guys? Red is lovely. Put blue on the other side so we can see each. Yeah, let me flatten another bead cap and flip this over. I don't think I need this white pin there. Wow, I've made a mess today. I just don't want to dent my backdrop thingy, so I moved over to my table to do that. I think I'm feeling blue. There's just already a lot of red going on. Red looks great, said Robin. And I'm gonna add, should I do a red swirly hanger or a silver swirly hanger to tie in our little bit of silver that we've got going on? Kathy said, I like the blue. I think I like the blue too. And I think I like the silver swirl hanger too. Okay, you guys, I think this is the finishing touch. I think it's all done. Look what a cute little flag star we made. Silver hanger, blue crystal, and silver swirl hanger. I agree. I guess I don't technically know which end of this hanger is supposed to be which. But it kind of works either way. But just for looking at it, I like the big swirl at the bottom. I hope you guys like it. This was a long live. I feel like mine are usually shorter than this. And we switched some things out quite a few times. So I'm so grateful that you guys stuck around. It was so nice chatting with you guys. Thank you for all the feedback on how you found our lives. And like I said, anytime you want to invite a friend, just feel free to send them the link or let them know to check us out on YouTube. They could go to go to YouTube and just type in the Ornament Girl and we'll pop right up. Everyone's saying so cute, super cute, beautiful. Marianne said, hello OGs, just got home. Hi Marianne, you got here just in time to see the finished product. We did a striped ribbon star, but we adjusted it to make an American flag design for 4th of July. Nancy said, so pretty. Louise said, very nice. Michelle said, very cute. Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. Robin said, I really love how it turned out. If you guys want supplies for making this ornament, be sure to check out the links in the description. If you want the free pattern for making this ornament, be sure to check out the links in the description. I love chatting with you guys. I don't know, I don't think I have a live again before 4th of July, so I hope everybody has a really great 4th of July. And of course, if you have any questions about any of your patterns or anything, be sure to let us know. Thank you so much to everyone who has purchased the Patriotic Pattern bundle. That means a lot to us. And if you're interested in snatching that up while it's available, it's only available through Tuesday. So be sure to purchase that if you're interested. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the thumbs up and the compliments. Kimberly, yes, I hope your craft room moving day was fun. Carmen said happy 4th. Robin said happy 4th, Kennedy. Thank you. Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day. Alrighty, bye.